What is up, Lifting fam? Today I'm going to be talking about recovery, so if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, that'd be amazing. But one thing I want to recommend you guys, if you don't need a rest day, don't take it. Now, I work out 6 days a week, 5 days a week, so I take Sunday off usually. Sorry, I'm getting a little sick. But Sunday is also the Lord's Day, so I take that day off. But if you don't need it, if your body doesn't hurt, if you're not sore, don't take a day off. That's how I think, how I think about it. But for the recovery thing, right? You can do heat, you could do sauna, you could do cold, you could do heating pads, you could do, ice baths, pretty much everything I just said. But that stuff is good for longevity. 110%, a million percent. If you want to be in this sport, if you're doing bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, if you want to do this for a very long time, you need to learn recovery. I struggled with that a year ago when I first started lifting. I didn't want to recover. I didn't want to stretch. I didn't want to, take days off. Now I am learning that I need that for longevity in this sport because I'm going to do strongman and powerlifting, and you need recovery. You're gonna get injured if you don't do recovery. It's just 100. That's just what it is, And also eating well, right? As a powerlifter and a strongman, I don't really need to be eating like a bodybuilder, but I still get my 230 grams of protein in every day, Whatever the body weight of yours is, you need to eat that amount of protein. And like if you're doing, like I said, if you're doing bodybuilding, it's a whole nother story. I could do another video on that. But like I said, I'm a powerlifter and a strongman, so I need to get as big as possible. Without, like, I don't want to be like all fat. I want to be muscle. So I have a decent amount. I have a decent amount of muscle on me. So then, but I need the belly for strongman. So like if I locked in for 16 weeks, maybe a little longer, maybe a little less, as to do bodybuilding, I'd have a 6-pack. I'd have a 4-pack, whatever it is. I'd have that. But that's not what I'm training for. So train for what you're gonna do. Eat for what you're gonna train for. That's just as simple as it gets. Like, what are you training for? You're training for bodybuilding? Okay, cut the carbs, cut the calorie intake, and eat higher protein meals. If you're doing strongman, eat as much calories as possible and eat as much protein as possible. And I don't really count my carbs or calories because I'm really just trying to get my protein intake. But like I said, cold therapy, I would do, like, wake up, take a cold shower, head to the gym. I'll get in a sauna for 15 to 20 minutes. That's typically what I do. Then go work out, right? Your blood, everything's warmed up, your joints are getting warmed up. And then after your workout, I recommend, even as a strongman and a powerlifter, I still do cardio. And in bodybuilders, you have to do cardio. You don't have a choice. But maybe like 15 to 30 minutes on the bike, or half an hour, 30 minutes, 45 minutes on the treadmill. It just really depends on what exactly you're training for. And I actually want to thank my mom for that because she's been trying to tell me about a lot of recovery stuff, and I've been trying to figure it out by myself and research certain things about recovery. But I just recommend you at least take one day off. Out of 7 days of the week, there's 7 days of the week, Monday through Sunday. Take one of those days off. I typically don't take because I work out 6 days a week, like I said, 5 days a week, so I hit every muscle group, and I hit 2 muscle groups, maybe 3 twice a week, so. But I typically, what I do, like I said, I do 15 minutes in the sauna, and then I do my heating pad at the end of the night. So I do that for about 30 minutes. I have a heating pad, thanks to my mom, and then I wake up and I take a cold shower, or I take a cold shower before I go to bed. It's all about recovery and stretching. Stretching, I want to get on that too, and then I'll get out of you guys' ear. But stretching is 100% needed. I stretch everything because if you don't stretch, if you don't warm up and you just automatically start, you're gonna get injured. You're gonna pull something. You're gonna pull a pec. You're gonna pull a hamstring. You're gonna pull something. So, before your workout, just do 10 minutes. Just 15 to 10 minutes of stretching. Get everything warmed up, right? Warm up your shoulders if you're doing shoulders. Warm up your hamstrings if you're doing hamstrings, right? Warm up your body if you're doing deadlifts or heavy squats. Warm up your quads. You just have to remember that, like I said, longevity is needed. So that's one of the main things that I think as athletes and as powerlifters, bodybuilders, at least at a young age, because I'm only 17, we forget to do, and I just recommend you guys do that. Recovery is 100% needed, and I used to not do that. But that's really all I wanted to talk about. You guys have an amazing day, and I will see you guys on the next video.